Lotus Luxembourg, the man from Earth. Cockroaches bury their dead, which gives them the right to the title of intelligent beings. Now, since I know this, when I kill a cockroach, I feel shame. I feel the shame of a murderer, if that's not an oxymoron. How do I know this? I know this through painfully exercised experiments conducted as a young man living in
and visiting
certain parts of New Orleans, Louisiana. Oh yes, NOLA is a cockroach's paradise. And just like the natives of this place, these cockroaches are diverse and congregate in certain parts of town that only partially correlate to human behavior. The highly intelligent ones live in the French Quarter. These are the very sophisticated ones who hold the entire structure of this part of town together, and not figuratively. Uptown cockroaches are the thieves and carjackers, and some are believed to actually consume nothing out of need. They eat anything and will steal your keys, carry them off and bury them in a cemetery. The lower ward roaches, 9th, 8th, 7th, are slightly larger with a grander wingspan, which allows them to command flight in an instant and knock down some poor innocent chap navigating the streets alone. Their aim is impeccable, and their bite can turn you into a kind of zombie, temporarily allowing us to control you. Then there is the information breed, which just likes to hang out. If you do not bother them, they won't mess with you. Though I hear that they smoke and chew bugs, and they have been known to crash parties in different parts of the city, turning up near the punch bowl or playing peekaboo behind the shower curtains in the restroom. The hitchhiker cockroaches like to travel. They are the adventurers, sneaking in cars for a ride to work or hiding away in a carry-on bag heading to Mexico. These guys prefer the critter cars and are reluctant to come inside. Most only do so when out-of-town guests are visiting. The list goes on, along with their body types, attitudes, color variations, sexual habits, and general mental health. And to think that each cockroach that goes down the toilet in a death shroud of 2-ply toilet paper, there is a small group that are watching nearby for documenting purposes. Although you only ever see one cockroach at a time, they always travel in packs of 3, 4, or 5. It's the code of the cockroach, established around the time of the introduction of agriculture. Another interesting tidbit: they do not decompose.
That's right, they're too mechanical for that. If you don't believe me, kill a cockroach and set him in the center of a room. Don't try this outside because the rest of the pack will quickly run off with the body to perform burial rites and such. No, it must be indoors. This confuses, or should I say cautions the pack to take it slow. As long as you do not leave for vacation, and sometimes even then, you will see the body sit there for weeks. Occasionally, you will notice a missing leg, or the head, or rear removed. This is because the pack must slowly and carefully dismantle the dead so it can be removed without suspicion. It's a very slow and complicated process that only intelligent creatures can conceive and implement. Not everything I have said so far is 100% true. The true nature of the cockroach can only be revealed to the believers, and this comes from sheer interest, and it also helps being in certain bloodline, or you can conduct your own experiments. Surely some contradictions will show themselves if a previous statement clashes with a newer one. Do not be alarmed, for it is all an effort to prep you for a higher matter and purpose. The mating habits of the cockroach are interesting. Any and all sexual encounters between roaches are purely recreational and casual. Unlike smaller breeds of roaches, they don't impregnate females which lay eggs and give birth to large families. The way in which cockroaches have sex is a mystery to mechanics itself, for they have no sex organs that can be identified by modern science. They seem to just hop on each other's backs, trying to cut each other's eyes and tapping their antennae in a kind of groove. It's more or less an emotion exchange rather than a fluid one. Even so, it accomplishes the same thing. The end result is a feeling of closeness and relaxation as potent as any sedatives that can be found on the market. Their sexual activeness also differs greatly according to region. Sexual relations decrease from east to west, yet is more frequently spotted from west to east due to specific kinks. Most cockroaches are very private about their sexual lives and very seldom kiss and tell. This is mostly due to their deep devotion to God.
Like most intelligent creatures, cockroaches do have a brain or a centralized controlling unit. Unlike most intelligent creatures,
excluding certain strains of humans,
their brains do not sit in their heads, but in their abdominal casing properly. Their brain is an electromagnetic gel found in the rear chambers of the body, which slowly and in very small quantities travels throughout different sections, though seldom reaching the head. The head is merely a transmitter-receiver. The antennae are static electricity, gathering devices that feed the brain gel a fresh current to generate the mind first. Beneath each wing there is a backup head, or rather a transmitter-receiver, which has no head-like features. The lack of an obvious purpose of the head allows the cockroach to live without it. But over time, the gel-like brain will run down like a battery without the antenna to supply it with current. If you could convince a pair of cockroaches to align, you could connect wires to them. You could power a 75-watt light bulb indefinitely, and with an extra pair and a tuner you could catch your favorite radio station, but you wouldn't hear it unless you had roaches, and if you left out the tuner, I'm afraid to tell you what you might hear. As you can see, cockroaches are very intelligent. They need no tools to build structures or no farmers to produce food. They need no stock market to manipulate or tax dollars to fund their research for treatments to sell, and in fact loathe the concept of money or the bartering system. They require very little to sustain themselves. Their social system is very complex. All cockroaches are truly equal. They have no government, though they codified laws and rules which need no critical force to persuade them to be followed. All but less than 1% believe in a common God figure. I have said before that they bury their dead. They don't, actually, but they do have rituals concerning death. For the same reason they do not have sex for procreation purposes, and for the same reason a dead cockroach left lying on your floor will mysteriously start missing pieces, is the same reason why cockroaches do not bury their dead. Their body parts are reusable. A dead cockroach is a dead cockroach is a dead cockroach, but the leg of a dead cockroach is another story. The cockroach is born in a sort of back alley shop. Easy assembly, requiring no tools. One of the marvels of science, out of a half snap-on, half magnetic lock that holds them together. This is why you will sometimes find a random leg or wing lying about, and it is usually caused by an unprepared cockroach that had to duck for cover when you flick the lights on. I said earlier that cockroaches loathe money. I have lied to you again. There are two types in this area, the ones who don't concern themselves with money, the vast majority, and the ones who have hefty bank accounts under strange names like Reginald Hammerspot or Lotus Luxembourg. All transactions are handled by carbon-based life forms that highly resemble Earth humans but aren't. An easy way to spot these fellows is by the absolute lack of nose hair. Their noses are bikini bare. There are other ways which are less obvious and require kidnapping, but the bare nostrils are a dead giveaway. The cockroach has not changed in millions of years. And in fact, one of the first roaches still lives today. It is highly protected and is held in care by a red-headed country boy with no friends. A pet. It is not the leader, nor does it hold any higher authority. Cockroaches have a high interest in humankind. Though they have been here long before us, still, they are not originally from Earth. The exact circumstances by which they came to be here is unknown even to themselves, and is quite unimportant to these sophisticated creatures anyhow. So why would a cockroach have a need for a head? Besides the antenna's purpose, the head of the cockroach is a transmitter and a receiver, as I have said. So why would a cockroach have a need for a head? To send and receive data. Though humans may have trouble answering questions concerning our existence, a cockroach can retrieve the answers to even the most obscure questions like whatever happened to Dr. Kevorkian, or is there really a Loch Ness monster? Cockroaches hear and see all, and to top it all off, it gets recorded.